so we're just gonna start this off real nice and easy like. I'm very excited. My name is DiIorio and Nelson Santiago. We have a special guest with us, King Spo-it.
King Spo-it in the house. You're right.
Welcome.
Well, thanks. Nice to be here, man. Nice to be here. Nice to be anywhere. Oh man, and we got dogs here. This is so cool. We got like a dog right here to pet on while it's just putting me in a better mood already.
Yeah, she's the I don't know what you would call her, the little madam of the house.
Dog whisperer.
She's the people whisperer.
People whisperer. Yeah.
I say that, you know, I make women come, she makes them stay.
And I make them go.
So this is Scott Corcoran, right?
Corcoran, yeah. You know, we don't put the family name out so much.
Okay.
So we're okay on this because nobody's listening. But
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But yeah, the reason I go under a stage name is because back in the days when Google wasn't as good as it is now, you could Google King Spo-its or King Spo-it, and you would come up with my band, and you could Google Scott Corcoran, and you'd come up with my architectural firm and my family and all this sort of shit. And I was like, well, just go, punk rock. We'll just go under a pseudonym. And then I want to worry about my family thing. But now Google is too good. They have put them both together. You do either of them, they both come up. And I know enough about the internet to know once it's out there, it's out there. So ain't no fighting it now.
I'm actually really excited that you're here.
Well, thanks.
Because, I always had, not for nothing, I mean, even though we didn't make money on that tour.
It was a good, the thing is like we made art.
Right.
And art's better than money. You can buy art with money sometimes, but and sometimes you can buy money with art. But it's like we kind of got screwed by the venue. They should have done some advertising. Would have been some more people there. Live and learn. We'll be doing more shows. If I quit the first time I lost fucking money, I would have quit 23 years ago.
So 23 years you've been in the business?
More than that, actually. You said the business. I started out as a performance poet. And I used to go to like New York poetry slams, and so this was back in my drinking days. And I would just go up and I would do these crazy fucking poems that you just can't even imagine. Some of them I don't even remember because I would extemporize. And at a party, if I got too drunk, I'd jump up on the table and do one of them. I was known for it. And people would ask me to come and do things, but I was drinking, so I was a mess. The worst kind of mess, a happy mess that would turn in a moment if things got bad.
Wow.
And I say that I stopped drinking and fighting on the same day, but I had one more fight after I quit drinking. So that's the year. But not my fault, I don't think. I was attacked.
Oh, jeez.
So, but I'm a much better person. So, all right, so I quit drinking 23 years ago. Cracked up. Was in the fucking hospital.
Wow.
Manic depression. Hallucinations like The Hobbit, the whole thing. Like I went through a week of no sleep.
Jesus.
And no speed, no coke, none of that, because I was like, I quit doing hard drugs when I was like 15, 16. And
when did you start? 10?
The thing is that nobody does drugs that doesn't need them.
Right, yeah.
I don't know how far back in my childhood you want to go, but let's just do the 3-second version. All right. So first thing he gets alcohol. I got that at 8. I would go drink. Everybody's like drink. I'd follow Dad's cocktail party, and there'd be like a drink with a cigarette butt in it. I'd finish it. End of the evening, I was cropped. And I did that more than once, more than a dozen times. Then you get into like 13, 14, I would be stealing 6-packs and whatever, drinking, and getting sick. They took me to the hospital a couple of times thinking I was going to die from alcohol poisoning.
Nice.
And my little brother too. They broke a bottle in the kitchen. He lapped it up, and they took him in when he was 2. So we got a family thing going on here. Although I think he was probably less in charge of that than I was. So I get into high school, and what do you do in high school? You drink and you fuck, And but I would get really violent when I drank. And unless things were going exactly smooth, somebody'd say something to me, I wouldn't even know that they're saying. I'd misunderstand them. I'd hit them. I was big. I was the same size I am now. At 15.
Yeah, I saw a picture of you on Facebook. You changed your profile picture.
Yeah.
On Mother's Day. I
Yeah.
And you were just an adorable kid. About 6'3", whatever you are.
It's not 6'3", man. I'm 5, maybe 10 and a half. I'm not even 6. But you
You
know,
hung with short people.
I hung with short. I also the people say I have a commanding presence. So you know, I get in and you know, I miss social cues and get a little close to people and whatever.
It means you're a scary motherfucker.
I'm not a scary guy. Like I haven't hit anybody in like anger in 22 years.
Good for you.
But
Yeah.
you do, aren't you?
I am after this weekend. I am due, but I am not going to do. That's the thing, because I'm a better person than that. I could very well throw down. Matter of fact, there's a certain person that if he wants to get in the squared circle with me, he's very much welcome, and he knows who the fuck he is.
A challenge.
A challenge, and the guy's I think he's a boxer too, but he's a candy ass boxer.
He's a guy that the boxers used to just slap around.
I don't know. I think he's the kind of guy that they used to fuck in prison for cigarettes. That's the kind of guy I think he is.
But just to see the look on his face.
Just to see, you know, just because he want to enjoy it. That's why.
You know, not for nothing. As soon as these mics go off, I want to know who this person is. I really do.
Okay, so where were we? Child. Okay, so I'm violent drunk. Everybody, hey man, it's all hippie days, you know, 70s. I was a child of the 70s, you know. Yeah, man. You're being really harsh and everybody's mellow at the party, man. We just smoke some of this. So I smoke hippie dope. Worst thing in the world for me. You know, I've already got dysgraphia. I already got the learning disability. Kicks all my short-term memory out that I have, which is not much. I'm clinically like low short-term.
So you're a goldfish.
Oh, not quite that bad. But I have like long-term memory out the fucking ass. So if I ever do remember something, I used to think it was permanent, but lately I've been forgetting things from 30, 40 years ago.
Wow.
When did you make the transition to comedy?
Oh, we're going up there. This is that comedy 3 years ago, and it wasn't a transition. I just decided to do something else. I'm still doing the band.
Well, let's talk about the band. The band is your big thing.
Yeah, that's my big thing. Well, I was a performance poet in New York City, and in South Carolina and Savannah and all this sort of thing. And I was out of the hospital and not drinking. And I don't know if you know how it's like to be like a manic depressive, but your brain works a million fucking miles a second. And the thing that alcohol does is it slows you down enough to talk to people. But it has certain side effects we're all familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And those side effects were kicking my ass. And the doctors at the MUSC, they said, Scott, you know, you're never going to be able to maintain a regular life while you're drinking, because it's going to accentuate your moods. It's going to be your up moods are going to be up, your down moods are going to be down, and you're going to be out of control. And you need to get this shit under control. And so I got on lithium for 6 months, and in fact, the worst 6 months of my fucking life. I hate it. Now I know there are people out there that are doing it and love it, or not love it, but they need it. Don't quit taking it from me. But for me, no good. I was already into Eastern meditation, TM, and all that sort of stuff. I had that toolkit from when I was 13. One of my teachers sat me down, Miss Sue Nooney, and taught me TM at 13.
Now this is transcendental meditation for people who don't know. It's very useful tools and lifestyle.
And it's not woo either. I'm a like straight up atheist. It's absolutely like brain exercises. And you're talking about like stuff that's hard for a 13-year-old manic depressive to learn. I didn't know I was manic depressive, but I couldn't sit still for 10 minutes. And we would just start with a minute. And the minutes became 2, and then 10, and then 20. And then I could fucking meditate. And it's held me in good stead my whole life. Matter of fact, when I got off lithium, it was a regime of meditation and no drinking that kept me sane. When I would get too high, I would just go home, get in my room, and I would meditate until it went away. And sometimes it was an hour, sometimes it was a day. Sometimes it was 2 days.
But you put in the time.
Put in the time. And you know, I've got to where I can do it anywhere. I can do it in any position. You know, I can sit down. If I can sit down in my chair, shut my eyes, and just be in that state, calm myself down.
I really wanted to do that. You know, Howard Stern does that, like religiously, and his mother got him into it.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, I mean, that guy's got a hectic life. And, you know, he wakes up at 4 o'clock and doesn't go to sleep until, well, he goes to sleep early. He goes to sleep at like 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
But the life that guy has, man, I could just imagine that you need that extra.
It's good. It's good for what ails you. I tell you.
My father wasn't for that. He's been doing it for probably 40 years.
I tell you, and no matter what level you do it at, if you can just do it a little, it helps you a little. You know, so yeah, that's my thing. And I had not had another episode until my first tour with Rob Shapiro and Crank Williams, Isaac Orr. I went out of my fucking mind on that tour because I was working 22 hours a day on that tour.
Right, and that
No
was the tour
sleep.
that me and Nelson were also involved in.
That's correct. Yeah,
Charlotte.
Charlotte was the first disaster of the mini disaster tour.
I'm honored.
Yeah, great.
It was just the first disaster was before Charlotte, was when the thieves at Taco Crapo cut my show because of Savannah Stoppo. You know, no cancellation fee, no nothing. You know, I still owe Crank $200 for that show. You know, because when I make an agreement with somebody, even if I don't have the money, you know, I'm going to get it to them eventually.
Who's that though?
That's your sound effects here?
Yeah, that's my sound effect board, and I thought I took the sound off of it so that way I wouldn't get notified on the emails.
We doing the morning zoo here?
Well, just in case you need something, you know, to jazz up, you know, how wonderful you guys are. Like,
there we go. There we
just
go.
something.
Excuse me.
But let me just find the sound on this.
Turn that shit off.
All right, so like, yeah, there's a bunch of disasters on that tour. It mostly came back from Crank. He told me to book it all. He was telling me he had a huge following, XYZ, bikers are going to come out of the woodwork to come see him and all this kind of shit. And Rob, you know, Rob is you know, somewhat of a minor celebrity, and you know, maybe they just confuse him with his brother or whatever, but something to get the people out there if they know to come, you know. And so, you know, we had the disaster here, and then with Atlanta, people actually came to the show, except the guy that ran the venue, a Mr. Sal Craphead, didn't bother to show up to open the fucking door.
No.
We had 150 people outside waiting to pay $15 a head to get in. Nobody. The thing I heard was that they were busy. Because really, you know, a lot of bars don't make most of their money serving alcohol. They make their money doing other things. And sometimes those other things, you have to like stop everything when something comes into town and do something with that thing.
Right.
And that's what I heard got done. And that's why nobody was around to open the door on a Saturday night.
Saturday.
Of a bar right downtown Atlanta. I mean, right in the middle of every fucking thing Atlanta. So he's on my shit list, you know, and but I can't be too mad about it. He gave me a headlining on Comedy to Burn, and that went just fine. So if he shows up and opens the bar, it's a good night.
Yeah.
So and like a lot of people I know, reliability is not the best thing. So we move it down to some bar. I don't even think I performed that night. Carlos Valencia, the Doug Stanhope feature, he performed that night.
Oh yeah, Carlos, good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Great guy. I just can't say enough about Carlos. Carlos has done more for my comedy career than any single person I know. He's the guy that got me up with Doug. He's the guy that fought with me, or fought for me rather, to get me on that bill with Stanhope in Savannah, and got me, even though the venue didn't want to have me on because of the $1,000 they stole from me, and the fact that I outed the owner as a prostitute by cracking her website and then posting it on my blog.
Nice.
By the way, I've got the pictures. So
In other words, you were just looking for some jerk off material. You happened to just discover this.
I knew she was a prostitute. That's not a secret in Savannah. What I didn't know was there was a website. And once somebody pointed me to where it was, the rest was inevitability. Because you don't even have to blow out code nowadays. I mean, by the way, the password, sexy.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's really hard.
Now, the only thing I want to know is like, all right, so we got 6 years of reviews. GFI, girlfriend experience stuff. And like, she was claiming that she could bring a gimp and a gimp mask a guy for a 3-way play. We don't know who the gimp is. So the question around Savannah is, who's Night Kitten's gimp?
Are you working on that?
I'm not working. She just had a kid, and her husband is a friend of mine. It could be. I can't imagine him and the gimp as. I don't think they were together at that point in time.
Maybe that's what brought them together.
Maybe that's what the lack of a gimp in her life, you know. But you know, it's like you know, I don't know, we were actually friends. I mean, we don't go over to each other's house or anything, but we were civil when we talked to each other, which for me in Savannah passes for friendship. So what were we talking about? Oh yeah, and by the way, Amy and I, if you ever heard my thing, Amy's daddy has a vagina, that's after Amy. You know, I named it after her. And the whole like, she banned me from her club. Then I posted the prostitute website. Then she called me up all in tears. Oh, this is so fake, and people are. So all right, so I tell you what, Amy, you lift the ban so I can come to the shows I want to see in your fucking club. I'll take the website down. And then that worked for about 3 weeks, and they decided they didn't like me again. They banned me again. And then I called Amy and said, Amy, I'm getting ready to put this material back up on my blog. Am I still banned? Oh no, Scott, that was a mistake. He just didn't know. Yeah, sure he did.
Hey, you want to plug your blog while you're at it?
King Spo-it 1, KINGSPOIT 1. It don't always have a lot of entries in there, but I put my artwork up. Any really good porn I find, you know.
That's always important.
Well, you know, for me, porn.